Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Awakened Shirai Ryu Fire Powers movie. Before we start, please go support Jampy 2003 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. Every fire user has a small part of the Shirai-yu blood. This applies to the Midoriya family, who lived happily in their day-to-day life until everything ended because of someone who was supposed to protect them, without knowing that he would create the most powerful being, motivated by revenge. Stories of the ancestors. Many years ago, a fierce battle was fought between the forces of the earth and the warriors of the outside world. The outcome of this battle would decide the fate of the earth. If the outside world won, the earth would be consumed by the outside world, but if the forces of the earth won, it would be saved. This battle became known as Mortal Kombat. The guardian god of the earth summoned the best warriors he could find to repel the forces of the outside world. Many years passed and the battle seemed to never cease. Many warriors died, many new ones were born, old brothers returned, rivals allied themselves. But finally the battle had ended with the triumph of the earth and the ascension of a new god. With this victory the land was safe. As a reward for the triumph, the god Liu Kang granted a wish to each fighter who helped him. One by one they asked for their wishes until it was the turn of two ninjas, previously rivals and now brothers in arms. Both knelt before the god and asked in unison, "Scorpion and Sub-Zero, in exchange for our lives, revive our clans." The god thought about it for a moment, and then accepted. Liu Kang, very well, putting your hands on your heads. From the body of the ninjas a yellow and blue light began to emerge and flowed through the arms of the god. Liu Kang, it's done, now you can return to your clans. Looking at the ninjas. Both ninjas were confused, they didn't know what happened. Liu Kang, they offered me the lives of Scorpions and Sub-Zero, that's why Hanzo and Kwang Lian are free to return. The ninjas clasped their hands above their heads and thanked. Liu Kang, your powers are here, showing a yellow dagger and a blue mask. If one day I need your help, I hope to count on you. Scorpions and Sub-Zero, it will be an honor to retire. Liu Kang, this is the beginning of an era of peace beginning to take flight. With this, Mortal Kombat had ended, but where there was fire, ashes remain. Future generations of fighters began to develop superhuman abilities, manipulation of fire, ice, more strength, speed, and various mutations, and with that, the era of Quirks arrived. And that's the legend closing a book. How cool, it says with stars in his eyes. It means that our Quirk comes from him, pointing at scorpions on the cover of the book. It's possible he handled the fire and we spit a little fire too. But years have passed. Possibly we no longer have a drop of blood from him. Explaining. Blood? Confusing. Sorry, I was thinking out loud. Okay, now it's time to sleep. Get out of bed. Sleep well, Izuku. Izuku, you too, Dad, are you getting ready to sleep? When he saw his son settle down, he left the room. Inko fell asleep, appearing from behind. Hisashi, yes, he fell asleep. Inko, he must be the only kid who falls asleep with battle legends instead of laughing stories. Hisashi, I know, but I'm glad we share a common interest. Inko, I guess we should sleep too. Hisashi, of course, tomorrow I have to go to work early. The next day. Inko, Izuku comes down. Breakfast is ready, shouted from the first floor. Izuku walked down the stairs slowly in his elementary school uniform with a sleepy face. Note, here Izuku is years old. Izuku, and Dad rubbing his face. Inko, he had to leave early. Go eat and pass him a plate, otherwise we'll be late. Izuku, eating well. After breakfast, the two green-haired boys were walking together on unimportant things until they arrived at a park and were ambushed by another boy. You're late. Izuku, appearing behind. Izuku, I'm sorry, I woke up late, yawning. Ah, good morning, Aunt Inko, greeting kindly. Inko, as polite as ever, little Katsuki stroking her head. While behind Inko was an Izuku with a face of, "Are you serious?" Inko, okay, now you can go alone, right? See you. Oh, and say hello to your mother, saying goodbye. Katsuki, goodbye, and I'll say goodbye. Izuku, I wish you were that sweet with everyone making fun of you. Katsuki, what did you say? Creating small explosions. Izuku, ah, it exploded again without importance and going or is. Katsuki, don't ignore me angrily. Izuku, come on, we'll be late, calling it. Katsuki, although he was angry, just gritted his teeth and followed him. Izuku, you were able to chat through the video game yesterday. Katsuki, who do you think you're talking to? I finished it in record time, proud. Izuku, well, at least you're good at making fun of something. Katsuki, taking Izuku by the shirt, what did you mean by cursed, threatening him? Izuku, okay, Calm down, appease him. Katsuki. Not this time, we are going to interrupted by a loud sound. Abuser. That's all you get looking at a child on the ground. Abuser. He's just a weakling looking at the child. Abuser. I didn't expect anything, and yet it's disappointing to make fun of it. The child on the floor could not say anything for fear of the abusers and that they would continue beating him. This scene was seen by Izuku and Katsuki, and without saying anything, Katsuki releases Izuku, and the two head to the scene. Izuku, don't you think that 3 against 1 is a little unfair looking at the abusers? Abuser. Who are you seriously? Katsuki. We are no one. We just came to even things out by bumping fists with an explosion. Izuku. You're fine. Bending down to see him. Victim. Yes, just a little bruised and laughing. Izuku. Okay, you rest. We'll take care of getting up. Abuser. You guys will take care of it. Ha, that was a good joke making fun of us. Abuser. What could elementary school children do to us who are in high school, making fun of us? Abuser. Appear children, oh, they will get hurt. Katsuki. I want the idiot face pointing at the abuser. Izuku. Okay, me and the other two, on the count of explaining. Katsuki. Flying at high speed with their explosions. Abuse had no time to react when he received a strong explosion in the face. Abuser. You damn trying to attack Katsuki. Being stopped by a wall of fire. Izuku. Your battle is with me creating fire in his hands. Abuser. What is this? Scared. The 2 remaining abusers watched in terror as walls of fire enclosed them within a hurricane of fire, and from one end appeared Izuku completely on fire approaching them. Izuku. Approaching face to face. Boo. It was the only thing he said to make the abusers run away through a hole that Izuku made for them to get out. Abuser. He's a demon taking his friend who survived the explosion. Abuser. Let's run and help the other one. Katsuki. TCH. I thought they would put up more of a fight. Disappointed. Izuku. Your explosions are so strong that they can demolish trees. No one would put up a fight against that by putting out their fire. Katsuki. Says the guy who literally created a hurricane of fire. Izuku. It's all in the proud doll. Victim. Who are you? Amazed? Izuku. Just some proud wannabe heroes. Katsuki. Who are late for class looking at their phone. Izuku. Curse starting to run. See you later saying goodbye. Katsuki. Hey damn, wait, running behind him. At school. Professor? And well, what is your excuse, seriously? Izuku. Well, that's what happened. He was looking nervously at Bakugo asking for help, to which Bakugo did nothing. Izuku. What happened was that Katsuki put on his mother's underwear, and we had to go back for him to change, making it up. Katsuki. But what angry? Izuku. True, pointing his head at the teacher. Katsuki with a blushing face just said. Katsuki. Lowering my head, I was sleepy, smelly, and I didn't realize. Katsuki's mind. You'll pay for this, Izuku. On Izuku's side, he avoided laughing at all costs. Professor. I sighed deeply. Just because we have 2 important news today, I'll let it go. Come in. Moving away from the entrance. Teacher. And Katsuki calling your attention, be more careful next time. Katsuki. With a red face. Yes, I will have it. Izuku. I hope it doesn't become a habit of making fun of it. Katsuki. I'll kill you in fury. After a moment. Teacher. Very well, class. I have some news for you as part of the study manual. Today we will go to the museum where you will write a report on what interests you most. It will be a group project of 3 members. Teacher. And we will also welcome a new classmate who will accompany us from now on. You can go in, pointing at the door. From the door appeared a black-haired boy with quite normal brown eyes. Teacher. His name is Sato Aki. How about you introduce yourself, looking at Aki? Aki. Well, my name is Sato Aki. I'm years old and I just moved here, so I hope we get along well. By bowing. Teacher. Okay, now you will have a moment to form your groups. When you have them ready, let me know. Students. They responded well. The new guy was quickly bombarded with questions. Student. Hey, where did you live before? Curious. Student. Why did they move? Curious. Student. What was your old school like? Curious. Student. What is your curious quirk? Aki. Well, I was clearing my throat to answer. I used to live in Tokyo. We moved for work reasons. It was so big that I could see it completely. And about the nervous quirk. Aki hesitated for a second to answer, but in the end he spoke nervously about what would happen. Aki. I don't have a quirk. I'm what they call a mucosei. Student. I'm sorry for distracting you, but I have to form my group by leaving. Student. Yes, I am also feeling nervous. Student. I feel you walking away. Mind of Aki. It seems that no matter where he goes he will always be the same, bowing his head. Izuku, so you don't have a quirk. That explains why you didn't defend yourself from those abusers by talking to them. Aki, you are one of the people who helped me recognize it. I know it's a little late, but thank you for helping me. Thank you? Izuku, you don't have to be thankful. That's what a hero does by smiling. Aki just smiled back but smaller. Izuku, the truth is, I came to ask you to be part of our guest group. The thing is that my partner is not very sociable, pointing to Katsuki who seems like he'll explode at any second. And what are you saying? Aki, you don't mind teaming up with me, you know, because you don't have a down quirk. Izuku, you're a villain asking. Aki, and no answered with doubt. Izuku, you plan to kill us by asking. Aki, no. Izuku, you have a rare contagious disease that could kill us by asking. Aki, no. Izuku, so if my life is not in danger, I don't see why you wouldn't join in by extending your hand. Aki, although he didn't know any hero, felt that the person in front of him was one. Aki, it will be a pleasure holding Izuku's hand. Izuku, hey Katsuki, we already have a group showing Aki. Katsuki, you are the one who was in the park looking at him. Aki, yes, thank you for helping me. Thanking you. Katsuki, anyway, I hope you're better at thinking than fighting, smiling. Teacher, okay, everyone has their groups asking questions, receiving a positive response. Teacher, okay, go out with your groups in order. There is a bus outside waiting for us explaining. After a bus ride. Professor, well, we have arrived. For the report you will have 2 hours to choose a topic of your choice. You can move freely around the museum, and when the time is up we will see you here. It was made clear by explaining. Students, yes, Sensei responding. The groups separated in various directions except for our main group. Aki, so where do you want to go asking? Izuku, let's cheat a little by starting to walk. Katsuki, just for that I agreed to be part of this group following him. Aki, a trap, what do you mean by following them? After a walk through the museum they arrived at the Japanese history section. Aki, we will report on this topic by watching the exhibition. Izuku, well, since we need information, it's better to ask an expert by approaching a man in a suit. Aki, Midoriya meets that man by asking Katsuki. Katsuki, if he knows him from seeing Izuku who threw himself at the man, he's his father. Hisashi, hey Izuku, what are you doing here? Surprised. Izuku, we came on a school trip, for an investigation. Hisashi, it was you. They told me that a school would come but I didn't believe it was yours seeing it, and then seeing the others. Hisashi, it's been a while Katsuki. How have you been greeting him? Katsuki, I've been fine, thank you Mr. Midoriya, returning the greeting. Hisashi, and you are looking at Aki. Aki, sorry, my name is Sato Aki and I'm new here, introducing myself. Hisashi, nice to meet you Aki, I'm Izuku's father, Hisashi Midoriya, it's a pleasure to meet you. Let me introduce myself. Aki, no, the pleasure is mine. I've only been here a short time and your son has already helped me a lot. Hisashi, good to know, well to the point, they must make a report. They already chose a topic looking at Izuku. Izuku, that's why I looked for you. Is there any interesting topic? Hisashi, well, the truth is that something just arrived that might interest you. Keep calling me. The young men only followed him until they reached a table full of rusty swords and knives. Hisashi, this just arrived this morning. You see something interesting looking at Izuku. Izuku and his companions approached the table to see it better. Katsuki and Aki noticed the large katanas, but Izuku, this is taking a small dagger with a scorpion engraved on it. Hanzo's dagger, looking amazed. Hisashi, I knew you would recognize her, but don't get so excited, it could be fake telling her. Izuku, fake confused. Hisashi, that's why they sent it to this museum to check if it's authentic. Izuku, true, as it is the dagger of a legend, it can be replicated to make money by speaking quickly and with one hand on the chin. Hisashi, that's why it's my job to see if it's authentic, and if it is, it will be the museum's biggest attraction. It excites me just thinking about him speaking quickly and with one hand on his chin. Aki, you can tell they are father and son with a drop of sweat. Katsuki, yes. When he gets excited about something he gets used to it. Katsuki, hey Izuku, come back to Earth. We must make that report to get his attention. Izuku, the report, but if I already did it by taking out some written sheets it was quite simple giving it to your team. Aki and Katsuki, when you did it, confused. Izuku, I did it while we were coming here. Thanks to my dad, I know a lot of history, so it wasn't difficult or unimportant. Katsuki: well, since it's already done, I'm not going to ask any more. I'm going to give it to the teacher and leave. Aki: you are amazing, Midoriya. You are strong and smart, praising him. Izuku and Hisashi: it's not that bad, reacting to something. After that there was an awkward silence. Hisashi, coughing to break the silence: I'm glad you're popular, my son. Izuku: ah yes, thanks. Awkward. Aki: by the way, is that dagger pointing at the dagger that Izuku had? Izuku: I'm glad you asked. This is the dagger of a powerful warrior of yesteryear, so powerful that he could fight against the gods themselves. He was so powerful that he was considered a demon, and when he decided to retire, his powers and abilities were sealed in his dagger, recounting with star eyes. Hisashi: and not only that, it is said that if a blood heir is stabbed with that dagger, that person would inherit all of his knowledge, powers, and abilities. Of course, it has never been proven that no one would accept being stabbed voluntarily, and there is also the risk that the dagger is fake. It is not exciting with starry eyes. Aki: that's how exciting it is with a drop of sweat. Aki's mind: now I know why Bakugo offered to take the report. When the time limit ended, all the students returned to the starting point. Katsuki: how did it go? Looking at Aki with a mocking smile. Aki: I think I heard more history in 1 hour than I did in my entire tired school life. Katsuki: I know laughing Izuku can be serious and mocking, but when he does something that interests him, he is like any child watching him. Aki: how interesting. Looking at Katsuki after getting to know you better. You're not as scary as I thought. Katsuki: what's that bothering you? Aki: I didn't mean that. I'm just saying that you're quite nice smiling. Katsuki: whatever, you'll have to get used to those geeky talks if you want to be part of the group. Explaining. Aki: wait, I'm part of your intrigued group. Katsuki: Izuku, I'm inviting you, and I have no reason to refuse. Aki was very excited. It was the first time he was not isolated. Aki: I knew you were kind, Bakugo. Katsuki: I'm not nice, and stop calling me Bakugo. My name is Katsuki, to clarify. Aki: okay. Katsuki smiling. Izuku: how unfair, I'm your friend too. Call me by my name. Hugging Aki and Katsuki. Aki: of course. Izuku is happy. Izuku: it's better smiling that way. After that declaration of friendship, the day ended without any unforeseen events. At Izuku's house. Inko: your father told me that your class went to the museum. You had fun asking questions. Izuku: it was really fun. I learned about the dagger and made a new friend. Inko: a new friend? Who? Intrigued. Izuku: a new guy who just moved in. The others avoided him. That's why I invited him to my group, and he turned out to be nice. Even Katsuki liked him. Explaining. Inko: they avoided him by asking why. Izuku: why doesn't Aki have a quirk? Just for that. Answering. Inko: that's cruel. Not being born with a quirk isn't his fault. It bothers him. I'm proud of you, son, for not discriminating against him. Proud of your son. Hisashi: I'm already entering the house. Inko: welcome. Izuku: welcome, Dad. And well, he's really excited. Hisashi: unfortunately, taking a break, I don't know. Izuku: why? Confused. Hisashi: it turns out the dagger is very rusty and needs a lot of work. I suspect that in 2 weeks I will know exactly by counting. Izuku: I wanted to know today. Disappointed. Hisashi: don't worry, when it's known if it's real or not, you'll be the second to know by cheering for it. Izuku: why the second? Confused. Hisashi: why will I be the first one? Smiling. Izuku: that's not fair, let me work with you. Pouting. Hisashi: no, your job is school and that's how it will be. Izuku: fine, but when it's ready you'll tell me by extending your pinky. Hisashi: of course, I promise you by interlacing our pinkies. Izuku: then I'm going to bed. Tomorrow I have to work. Laughing. The two parents watched their son climb the stairs with a smile. Inko: it's identical to you, hugging his smart and creative arm. Hisashi: seriously, I think she looks like you, cheerful and kind, bringing her closer to him. Inko: better say it looks like the two of them. Approaching Hisashi's face. Hisashi: if I didn't, it wouldn't be our son. Closing the distance to kiss her. Inko: I hope this happiness doesn't end up separating. Hisashi: don't worry, while I'm here, make sure it lasts by pointing it out. Inko: I'm glad. I'll serve you dinner right away by going to the kitchen. Hisashi: okay, I'll go wash up. After a while the two adults were at the kitchen table chatting. Inko: I saw on TV that there have been many robberies in the area. Hisashi: yes, I heard that too, but they only attack small shops, and the police and heroes are already looking for them by counting them. Inko. I hope they catch them soon. I'm a little worried and distressed. Hisashi, calm down. Nothing bad will happen if you calm her down. Elsewhere. Boss, this is useless. With these small robberies, we won't get rich counting a wad of money. He's right. It's barely a month's salary for each one counting a wad of money. Boss, I know well, but these are just appetizers for the main course looking at a picture. Boss, this will be our last big hit by showing the image to your henchmen. Sekua's one. It's a confusing museum. Sekuin. Yes, there's no confused money in that place. Boss, don't be idiots. All those antiques can be sold for a high price on the black market, and if that weren't enough, new solid gold products arrived in a week. Boss, with all that gold plus everything we can carry, it will be the biggest robbery we've ever done. Smiling. Followers, now I understand. I'm getting excited just thinking about the money we'll have. Excited. Followers, me too. What's the plan? Asking. Boss, simple. The delivery truck with the gold products will arrive in the morning. We will wait for the truck and the back door to open. When both doors are open, I will take possession of the truck by knocking out the drivers. You will enter the museum and take everything you can and load it onto the truck. The delivery should last an hour, so that will be the time you have to load the relics. Then we will pretend to be the drivers and leave without attracting attention. Come simple. Telling the plan. Followers, you're a genius. Boss, praising him. Secuse, this plan has no flaws. Praising it. Boss, that's the idea. So from now on keep a low profile, until the day of the robbery. Ordering. Minions and, at your service, Chief. The next morning, Izuku was waking up to the sound of his alarm. Izuku, turning off the alarm. How I hate mornings, he says, rubbing his face. After a while, he got up, dressed, and washed. He could be seen going down the stairs. Izuku, good morning, Mom, yawning. Inko, wow, you got up without me yelling at you. That's new mockery. Izuku, I know, don't expect it to become a habit. Almost falling asleep. Inko laughed. Here's your breakfast, passing her a plate. Everything on this day was normal. Breakfast, the walk to the park where Katsuki was waiting for them, with the only difference that now Katsuki was not alone. Aki, good morning. Izuku and Mrs. Midoriya, greetings. Inko, you must be Sato. Aki, Izuku told me about you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Saying hello. Aki, the pleasure is mine, Mrs. Midoriya says respectfully. Inko, please don't call me ma'am. And Inko is fine, she says kindly. Right. Katsuki, looking at Katsuki. Katsuki, it's true, Auntie. Inko says embarrassed. Inko, ah, how nice, looking at his watch. Oh, it's getting late. Well, I'll leave you. Goodbye. Saying goodbye. Aki, she is very friendly, smiling. Katsuki, he always is, smiling. Izuku, it's my idea. You are too kind to my mother, frowning. Aki, to Izuku, it's not what it is. It's just that I didn't expect your mom to be so young and beautiful. Embarrassed. Izuku, do you want to fix it or make it worse by creating a fireball? Aki, Katsuki helped me by hiding behind him. Katsuki, you have to admit that Aki is telling the truth when he looks at Izuku. Izuku turns off his fireball and takes out his phone and shows it to Aki. Aki, wow, Katsuki, I didn't know you had a sister. Looking at the aforementioned. Katsuki, I don't have a sister. Looking at the phone. When Katsuki saw the phone, he saw that it was a photo of his mother. Katsuki, damn flame, why do you have a picture of my angry mother? Izuku, that's a secret, he says mockingly. Katsuki, I will kill you, he shouted and then chased him. Izuku, you started running but didn't stop laughing. Aki, they really get along, laughing. Beginning of revenge. After the trip to the museum, the three little ones spent every day together. Aki, not wanting to keep secrets from her friends, told Katsuki that she didn't have a quirk, to which he accepted without problem. Aki, for the first time, felt that school was fun, because of the friends who accepted him. Unfortunately, not all of his classmates did. Some of his classmates tried to intimidate him with threats and wanted to force him to do errands. But when that happened, it was Izuku and Katsuki who helped him defend himself. Walking home after school. Katsuki, you are very weak. Aki, criticizing him. Aki, what do you want me to do? Without a quirk, I can't face you. Like you are making excuses. Izuku, there are several ways to defend yourself without a quirk. By commenting. Izuku, but you don't even try. Looking at Aki. Aki, you can't just start defending me overnight, he says. Izuku, you're right about that. Well, it doesn't matter, there's still a lot of time left until high school. During that time, Katsuki and I will teach you how to defend yourself by counting. Katsuki, Don't involve me in your promises by arguing. Aki and Izuku. You won't be surprised. Katsuki. Well, I didn't say I wouldn't do it by looking away. Izuku. What a thunder mocking. After a journey of laughter and shouts, the three arrived at the area where they were to split up. Izuku. Well, here we part ways. See you on Monday, saying goodbye. Aki. I can't believe it's been a week. See you saying goodbye. Katsuki. Whatever, leaving without saying anything. At Izuku's house, the entire Midoriya family was having dinner peacefully. Inko. How did it go at school? Izuku asking. Izuku. Since he arrived here it's been more fun. Katsuki is a good friend but he's not very good at counting. Hisashi. That boy is quite interesting. Even when we spent an hour telling stories, he stayed listening. Izuku's mind. I guess he was so nervous that he didn't say anything. I'll apologize to him later, he said to himself. Inko. By the way, do you have any plans tomorrow to look at Hisashi? Hisashi. The truth is yes, I have to go to the museum to receive an important delivery telling. Izuku. Hey, but you said that this Saturday the three of us were going to spend it excited. Hisashi. It's true that I said it nervously for having forgotten it. Inko. Izuku, you have to understand that this is your father's job explaining. Izuku. I know, but I'm depressed. Hisashi. No, I promised and I'm going to keep it. Tomorrow I just have to receive the delivery and then I'll have the whole day off. So you can come with me and after the delivery we can go to a restaurant. What do you think explaining your plan? Inko. We won't get in the way by asking. Hisashi. It'll just be me and the truck drivers, so no smiling. Inko. If that's the case, I'll wait for it with enthusiasm and a smile. Izuku. This will be great. I'll be able to see the antiques again, and then it will be an excited family outing. Hisashi. I recommend that you go to sleep early. Deliveries are always in the morning and it's hard for you to get up suggesting. Izuku. Okay, finishing your dinner. Good night, he says, going up the stairs. Inko. Don't forget to brush your teeth before you go to sleep, yelling at him. Izuku. Okay, answering tomorrow will be a great day. Looking in the mirror. In a warehouse. Minion. Tomorrow is going to be a great day. Excited. Henchman. You're right. Tomorrow we'll finally be rich. Excited. Boss, calm down a bit. We must review the plan so that there are no errors. Reading some papers. Henchman. Okay. Holding up a piece of paper. By the way, boss, are you sure we can trust that person? Doubting. Boss, he's like any other person. If you give him his payment he'll do what you want. Explaining. Henchman. Well, if the boss says so, it should be fine. I just hope nothing goes wrong. The next day. Hisashi, are you ready? Looking at Inko. Inko. Yes, I am. It feels good to go out smiling every now and then. Hisashi. And Izuku looking to find him. Izuku. Here I am, appearing behind his father. Inko. It's the first time you've woken up so early seeing your son. Izuku. There's a happy first time for everything. Hisashi. Well, it's time to go. Opening the door. After a short trip to the museum, the Midoriya family had arrived at their destination. Hisashi. You can do whatever you want while you wait. I'll go to the back to receive the cargo and walk to its destination. Inko. What do you say? Let's go see the exhibition. While looking at his son. Izuku. Sure, I want to see if there are any new articles. Holding his mother's hand. Everything was going according to plan for the family. Unfortunately, another plan was also going according to plan. With the villains. Salazar. There's the truck boss, looking at a truck with the museum logo. Dave. This will be an easy robbery considering the truck. Boss. Okay guys, it's time to act by moving from where you were. The robbery operation was underway. Boss. Okay, continue with the plan by putting on a mask. The delivery of the products was proceeding normally. Hisashi opened the back door to receive the products. When he did, he saw a young man with a tablet. Hisashi. Good morning, smiling. Young man. Good morning, sir. Pausing. Hisashi. Midoriya. Hisashi. Midoriya responding. Young man. Very well, Mr. Midoriya. You can sign here by passing the clipboard. I will open the truck and go to the truck. The young man opened the back of the truck, revealing several statues of different shapes and sizes and gaps with gold parts and jewels. Salazar. Wow, that's a nice loot. Appearing next to the young man with a smile. Young man. Who is being stabbed in the neck by a needle? Salazar. That's something you shouldn't know by turning your finger into a needle. Quirk description. Poison needle. Can make needles appear from different parts of your body. These needles have a paralyzing poison. In small quantities it will only make you sleep, but in large quantities it could be fatal. Note: please read the description with present mixed voice, thank you. The young man just fell unconscious from the attack, making a loud noise when he hit the ground. Hisashi looked away from the documents to see where the noise was coming from, seeing the young delivery man on the ground and a man with his back turned. Hisashi, he is receiving a blow to the back of the head from a steel. Dave, that should be enough. Standing behind Hisashi. Quirk description: dash allows the user to travel a small distance at high speed. It is perfect for surprise attacks or dodging. Dave, and your mask looking at Salazar. Salazar, it's uncomfortable and ugly. That's why I didn't wear it. Explaining it. Dave, you also know that it's awkward and ugly to ask. Salazar, what? Dave, being in jail. That's why we use this, pointing at the mask so they don't discover us. Idiot. Salazar, relax. The boss checked that there were no cameras and the only 3 witnesses are unconscious. Explaining. Boss, why are you wasting your time cleaning blood off your hands? Salazar, correction. The only 2 he says are unimportant. Dave, I thought we just knocked them out nervously. Boss, that was the plan, but he resisted. I did what I had to do. Seriously, let's continue with the plan. We have less than an hour to load everything we can. Start filling the truck in order. Salazar and Dave obeyed their boss, one more nervous than the other. The minutes passed and a couple of green-haired guys began to notice. Izuku, Mom, how much longer do you think I'm bored? Inko, no, I know, but it's already taken a while. He said he wouldn't be long, but looking at his watch, it's already taken a while. Izuku, what do you think if we go look for him? Excitedly. Inko, they must be finished thinking, so I don't think it's a problem. With this decision, the 2 green-haired men headed to the unloading area. With the villains. Salazar, ready boss. We filled the truck as much as we could, seeing the truck full of statues, paintings, and weapons. Boss, well, the sooner we leave, the less danger we'll run of getting nervous about the weather. Salazar, calm down, boss. That's the worst thing that could happen if you close the truck. Izuku, where do you think Dad is going to take us talking? Inko, I don't know, but it will surely be exciting, honey. These Lise cutting off her conversation when she saw the scene in front of her. 2 unconscious people, one of them her husband, 2 suspicious people in front of the truck. The villains also couldn't react. 2 people who weren't in their plan have appeared. The first to react was Inko. Inko, Izuku runs worried. Mother and son didn't get very far when they were intercepted by a wake that left them unconscious. Dave, who are these holding the mother and son? Salazar, what are we doing, boss? They looked at us nervously. Boss, it's not obvious what we have to do. Pulling a gun from his belt, there can't be witnesses, pointing at Izuku. Dave, wait, boss, stopping your boss. Boss, what's going on? Seriously. Dave, nervous, there's no time left. Let's carry them both and in the den we'll think about something, more calmly. What do you think about sweating from nerves? The boss took a while to think about it. Boss, okay, get them on the truck, keeping their weapon. Dave, sigh of relief. Boss walks to the truck. Boss, you too, Salazar, go up and order. Salazar, clearly nervous. An hour later. Hey, are you okay? What happened? Wake up Hisashi by moving Hisashi's body. Hisashi, slowly opening my eyes. Where am I? Confused. You're at the museum. Tell me what happened. Worried. Hisashi, getting up slowly, seeing the person who spoke to Irina, recognizing her coworker. Irina, yes, it's me. You remember what happened? Worried. Hisashi, holding his head. I remember opening the door for the truck to sign for the delivery. I wanted to finish quickly because he would go, with his eyes suddenly opening when he realized. Hisashi, grabbing Irina's shoulders, tell me when you arrived there were more people besides me. Worried. Irina, I don't know what you're talking about. There was no one there when I arrived. Nervous. Hisashi desperately searched for his phone in his jacket. Hisashi, I need you to come to the museum quickly. My family was kidnapped. Hysterical. Police, calm down, sir. We will send a patrol and notify the nearby heroes. Just wait a moment and calm him down. Hisashi, how do you expect me to calm down when my family was kidnapped? Screaming. Police, I understand, sir. We already sent help. Just wait for it. While explaining. Hisashi, deep sigh. Okay, I'll wait to calm down. A few minutes later, several police officers could be seen investigating the truck's markings, taking inventory of what was missing, and interviewing a young man, along with a body covered with a sheet. Almight, what a mess. Looking around. Mr. Midoriya, could I talk to you by approaching, sir? Hisashi, you are being interrupted. Almight, I am Metalmite, a hero pro introducing myself. I will take charge of the kidnapping of your family. Hisashi, thank you. Look here, showing your cell phone. This is a photo of my wife and son. Metalmite, looking at the photo, this will be helpful. Remember something that happened by asking. Hisashi, I remember opening the door to receive the delivery and suddenly some unknown people appeared. It's the last thing I remember holding my head. Metalmite, remember seeing the faces of strangers asking. Hisashi, no, I could see them. They were wearing masks. Remembering. Police, Hero Metalmite, we finished interrogating the delivery man. It seems the stories match. Looking at the hero. Metalmite, on second thought, these trucks usually have trackers. You can find it by asking. Police, it was the first thing we tried, but it seems that reporting doesn't work. Metalmite, then we should start looking the old way by telling the police the plan. Hisashi, Tracker said in a low voice. Hisashi, wait, scream so they will hear you. Police, what's going on, sir? Hisashi quickly took out his phone, searched for something on the screen and showed it to the hero and the policeman. Metalmite, what are we seeing confusing? Hisashi, my son is very polite and respectful, but he is still a child, so when I bought him his first phone I made sure to always have the GPS on so that he knows his location, and the phone is showing his current location. Metalmite, okay, there's no time to waste. Gather some patrols and we'll go to this location. Ordering the police. Metalmite, Mr. Midoriya, you're coming with me. Are you okay with asking? Hisashi, of course, decided. In a warehouse on the outskirts of the city, there were two green-haired men tied to chairs with their lips covered with tape along with two hysterical people. Salazar, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Repeating the same thing from one side to the other. Dave, can you stop? You've been doing that for an hour. Screaming. Salazar, and what do you want me to do? In case you have noticed, there are two people tied up, screaming in despair. Salazar, he sits on the ground. I'm just a simple thief. I'm not a kidnapper or a murderer, he says with tears in his eyes. Dave, I know. I don't feel like doing this either. We should think of a way out of this by watching the two green-haired guys. Mother and son were scared of their situation, especially Izuku. What he was experiencing was too much for a 8-year-old boy. Inko knew her son was afraid, so she desperately looked for a way to escape. She saw a table full of swords and daggers, so she used her quirk to attract the only thing she could lift, which was a small rusty dagger. The villains in their desperation did not notice that the dagger was floating. When she finally had it in her hands, she began to cut the rope that kept her prisoner. Cutting it after a moment, she was finally free. Inko, removing the tape from her mouth. Calm down, Izuku. I'll get you out and start cutting. When I was cutting the rope, Izuku started to move strongly and tried to talk. Inko, don't move so much. Look up and see your son's face. When Inko saw Izuku's face, she saw that he was trying to say something. Inko, she took the tape off of Izuku. Izuku, behind you, I screamed, scared. Inko turned quickly only to receive a bullet in the shoulder and subsequently fall to the ground. Izuku, and Moem shouted worriedly. Boss, looks like your little escape will have to be postponed, he says with the gun pointed at them. Boss, I told you to keep an eye on them, he says, looking at the pair of villains, Salazar and Dave. Sorry, boss, kneeling on the floor. Boss, sigh, never mind, that person will soon arrive to end this problem by approaching Inko. Inko was on the ground holding her shoulder to stop the bleeding. Boss, they grab Inko by the hair to lift her up. I congratulate you. You are stronger than you look. Inko said nothing, but tears and clear signs of pain were visible on her face. Inko's mind, it hurts so much. I want to cry. I want to scream, but I can't break down. Not in front of him, looking at Izuku. Not in front of the one I have to protect by spitting in the boss's face. Boss, damn bitch, wiping her face and then hitting her and throwing her back on the ground. Not satisfied with that, the boss began to kick Inko's stomach on the ground, all in front of Izuku, who did not stop crying and shouted for him to stop. But the boss did not stop except for a metallic sound coming from the door. Boss, tired, he finally arrived, heading for the door. Boss, you're late, looking at the person. Metalmite, sorry, I was tying up your loose ends by throwing in a pretty injured Hisashi. Izuku, Dad screamed when he saw it. When Hisashi heard this, he looked up with difficulty, and could see his son Itato and his wife on top of a pool of blood. With the little strength he had left, he tried to crawl towards them. Metalmite, how cute, you try to reach him. Let me help you by kicking him with great force straight towards his family. Metalmite, Helping a family reunite is what a hero does by laughing sinisterly. Izuku, Dad, Levnt please, he begged in tears. Hisashi, calm down son, your father is fine. Getting up with difficulty, it's just a scratch. Izuku, Mom is she's crying, trying to see her. Hisashi, no voltias son taking his face look at me. Taking the dagger from the ground, to completely free Izuku. Hisashi, why you're hurt checking it. Izuku, no, BT I'm very scared. Scared of the situation. Hisashi, it's normal to be afraid, but now I ask you to super them and run as fast as possible, giving them the dagger to defend yourself. Izuku, and and you are distressed? Hisashi, somehow or another we will be with you. Standing in front of him. Hisashi, I'll create an opportunity for you to escape, so be prepared. Izuku, wiping away tears in agreement. Almight, I think I gave them enough time to say goodbye. Father and son said nothing. Almight, who still think they have a way to escape by mocking. Hisashi, without expecting anything, launched a large flame from his mouth that covered visibility and prevented them from getting closer. Izuku took advantage of this by crossing the fire. As he also had a fire quirk, he was resistant to fire. It seemed that the plan was working until Izuku collided with something in the middle of the fire. Almight, it was a good strategy taking Izuku by the shirt. Too bad I was his opponent. Almight was in the middle of the flame with his skin covered in metal, which protected him from the fire. In an act of desperation, Izuku tried to stab Almight with the dagger he had, but unfortunately it could not pierce the metal skin. Almight, I must admit it, kid, you and your family taking the dagger away with force don't know when to give up stabbing. Without waiting, Almight dropped Izuku and headed towards Hisashi, who was still spitting fire. Almight, it's enough to cover his mouth with your hand and lift him up. Nothing personal, Mr. Midoriya. It's just business, turning your free arm into a sword. Almight pierced Hisashi's body, all in front of Izuku, who was still conscious. After witnessing his father's death, he tried to approach him, but the blood loss was massive. Almight, we must give the police chief his share, he says, returning to his normal form. This was the last thing Izuku heard before falling unconscious. Izuku, opening my eyes where I'm looking around. Izuku found himself in a strange place, an area full of fire, seas of lava, and volcanoes in constant eruption, but for some reason he didn't feel scared or worried. In one of his glances he could see a large stone throne and a hooded person on it. Being the only thing that was different, Izuku decided to approach. Izuku, you know where we are talking to the person sitting. At the question, this being raised its head, revealing a completely burning skull. The being rose from its throne and went to Izuku. The latter could not react in time when the being already had him by the head. Izuku, what are you doing trying to get away? Today the new ruler of hell is born, he says in a deep voice, and then sets it on fire. Izuku, wakes up agitated. Was chai tea? He says, sweating, seeing his trembling hands. When he was able to calm down, he noticed that he didn't have any burns, even the stab wound had disappeared. Only the dagger remained on the ground stained with blood, which disappeared shortly after. When he realized that he was okay, he began to look around him, noticing that the warehouse where he was completely empty, except for 2 packages that could be seen in the darkness. Izuku knew what they were. But he still decided to approach, and as expected they were the lifeless bodies of his 2 parents. Izuku, falling to his knees and starting to cry. Izuku began to remember all the happy moments he spent with his family from the oldest to the most recent, remembering the people who selfishly took that happiness away from him. He remembered how his mother was beaten to death, how a hero who was supposed to protect him killed his father, turning all his sadness into rage. Just thinking about it made his blood boil and his body reacted to it by generating fire. Izuku, breathing heavily, screamed loudly, turning his body into a burning skeleton. The flames were so great that the entire warehouse caught fire. The flames were so big and so strong that the whole warehouse started to burn. The fire was so intense that it was impossible not to notice it. In a few minutes we started to hear fire sirens and police officers approaching. Izuku, where were they a few hours ago? He said in a low voice. Izuku, I can't go to the police. If that hero finds out I'm still alive, he'll finish the job again. Remembering what the hero said. With that analysis, Izuku decided to leave through the back door of the warehouse, where he headed to a nearby forest. But before entering completely, he stopped and looked back. Izuku, Mom, Dad, I promise you that his death will not go unjustly, he says, looking at the fire. With this promise made, Izuku went into the forest so that he wouldn't be seen by the police. The little boy was determined to keep his promise one way or another, but he had a problem. At that moment, he felt very weak. Izuku, maybe it's because I haven't eaten anything all day, or maybe I used a lot of my quirk, he said, remembering what happened. This is bad. I'm getting dizzy, grabbing his head. Because of the dizziness and how weak he felt, he couldn't help but trip and fall. Izuku, no, I can't die here. I haven't achieved anything yet, was the last thing he said before losing consciousness. Izuku's body collapsed, but his mind had other plans, showing him the exploits of a warrior of yesteryear, clan leader, and father who like him lost everything in an instant, even his life. But this warrior, death cannot stop him. Using his determination and his endless thirst, he managed to free himself from the chains that kept him prisoner and control the fire that was to burn, all to get his long for revenge. After Izuku had the craziest dream he began to wake up. Izuku, opening his eyes, he sees a wooden ceiling where he is rubbing his head. Looking around, he noticed that he was in a small wooden cabin, and he was lying on a rather dirty armchair. You finally wake up. I thought you were dead, leaving a bread and water in front of Izuku. You must be hungry, eat a little. Izuku, who are you seeing? A young man taller than you with black hair and some burns on his face. So you don't trust me? Smiling, that's good. If you trust a lot they can betray you. My name is Dabi, and I was the one who saved you from sleeping on the ground by introducing myself. First ally. After a night full of nightmares or memories, the green-haired man woke up in a strange place he didn't know, being received by a black-haired man who called himself Dabi. Izuku, where am I? Looking around. Dabi, I call it home, but it's just a dump that has 4 walls and a roof, he says, showing the decay of the place. Dabi's words fell short to describe the place: moldy and destroyed walls, broken windows or boarded up with boards, roof that was falling apart with several holes. Izuku, it seems you have it hard. Looking at Dabi. Dabi, over time you get used to it, smiling maliciously. Izuku, for some reason that he himself didn't know, became alert when he saw that smile and jumped back. Izuku, what do you want? Looking at him seriously. Dabi, oh, you are more perceptive than I thought. I'm sure you're years old. Izuku, smiling at him. Izuku shivered. Although Dabi was not an adult, the pressure he emitted was quite large and terrifying. Izuku, how do you know my name is going backwards little by little? Dabi, in the underworld, news flies. They talk about a small family that was murdered, he says as he approaches Izuku. A father, a mother and a small child, all of them murdered in a warehouse near the forest. Does this story sound familiar to you? Standing face to face with Izuku. After hearing that, Izuku began to remember every scene of what happened the day before. The beating of his mother, the sacrifice of his father, his own death, all at the hands of a single person. The sadness he felt was replaced by fury that was reflected on his face. Dabi, good, that expression is what I was looking for, smiling at his goal. Izuku, why did you save me? Angrily. Dabi, I saved you for your quirk, he says without further ado. Izuku, my quirk? Asked without letting his guard down. Dabi, as I told you, in the underworld everyone knows about everything, and I heard about a big robbery. I thought it was my chance to take a part without them noticing, but when I arrived everything was empty, alone. Only a small crying boy remained, pointing at Izuku. Disappointed, he left the warehouse when suddenly everything started to burn. Does that sound familiar to you? Looking at Izuku? Izuku looked at his hand and lit his hand with an orange flame with red spots. Dabi, if this is a fire so strong and destructive that not even the water quirks could put it out, admiring the fire. Dabi, that's why I saved you. I've never seen such a strong fire. I dare say it's even stronger than Endeavor's, changing his face when he said that. Izuku, so what you want is to use me by putting yourself on guard. Dabi, no, what I want is an alliance. Before saving you I heard your promise of revenge, and it turns out that I have a similar objective, remembering the promise. Dabi, what do you think if you help me and I help you by stretching out my hand? Izuku thought carefully about what to do. Although he wanted revenge, he was just a child and knew nothing about the underworld. He would die even before completing his revenge. Izuku, letting down his guard, I'll help you by shaking his hand. Dabi, I like it that way, partner. Come eat something. You'll need energy to survive. Izuku went to the plate that had been brought to him before and began to eat. The bread was old and somewhat hard, but it was edible. Izuku, what's your plan? Looking at Dabi while he was eating. Dabi, the first thing would be to gain more power. Although our quirks are strong, drawing fire from their hands, we are still no match for them. Izuku, so you also have fire? Quirk looking at it. Dabi, oh, I didn't tell you, smiling, but now you know. Dabi, we also need money and better shelter, explaining the plan. Izuku, I understand about the shelter, but why the money? Dabi, idiot, money moves everything. We can buy information, hire subordinates, but more importantly we need money to be able to eat, while laughing at the last thing. Izuku, how do we get money? By asking. Dabi, I can think of two ways. We can rob a bank, enter and exit with our quirk. It would be easy, or we could take them from the local mafias and gangs. They always handle a lot of money, but it would be more difficult counting. Izuku, the second one, says sharply. Dabi, yes, you heard that was the hardest one. One false step and we could die. Not to mention that they wouldn't let themselves be robbed without a fight, explaining. Izuku, I want to have my revenge without having to hurt innocent people. With a determined look. Dabi, it seems you still have the hero complex, and I don't blame you. There was a time when I also wanted to be a hero, but I learned that not everything in this life was achieved by being a good Samaritan. Speaking seriously. Izuku, I know, the one who killed my parents was a person who called himself a hero, remembering. Dabi, then Pa interrupted. Izuku, but even so, I don't want to hurt innocent people if I have the chance, he says firmly. Dabi scratched his head and sighed deeply. Dabi, fine, as long as you help me there will be no problem, and this way we get rid of the competition. But that leaves us with another problem to think about. Izuku, and which one? Is intrigued. Dabi, have you ever killed someone? He says seriously. Of course you're not only years old, how could you kill someone by answering yourself? Izuku, faced with the question and without changing his serious expression, answers. Izuku, it may seem strange to you, but I feel like I wouldn't have any problems with that subject. I feel like I have a lot of experience with that subject, he says, looking at his hands. Dabi, you're years old as a bitch. Being interrupted. Get out of there, you little rat, screaming from outside. Dabi, oh, just in time, let's see if what you say is real, standing up and walking to the door. Izuku imitated his action and followed him behind in his walk. Izuku, who are they? I ask while walking. Dabi, turns out robbing a bank is pretty hard if you do it alone, so I also chose the second option, laughing as he opened the door. Izuku, I understand, he says before leaving. Robert, wow, at least you have the courage not to run, says a man with a bat. Dabi, I'm not a coward, Robert, not like you, who brings 5 adults to threaten a kid by making fun of him. Robert, I have friends with burns who would say otherwise, he says seriously. Izuku, you burned them, he says as if it were nothing. Dabi, well, they discovered me in the robbery. I had to get out somehow, raising my shoulders. Robert, and who is that, your pet? Mocking. Dabi, he's my new partner, don't you think he's nice? Go say hello and encourage Izuku. Izuku, hello, he says simply. Robert, damn booger. Interrupted. Say, enough talk, Robert, let's do what we came to do, taking several knives out of his bag. Rinho, I agree, I'm tired of waiting and bumping fists. Fogo, we must burn them alive by setting themselves on fire. Ted, let's just crush them to death by taking out a giant rock. Robert, fine, do whatever you want by turning around. Say, I screamed first. As soon as Sei shouted, he threw several knives at high speed. Dabi, seeing this, jumped to one side, but Izuku remained motionless in the same position and, like a master, moved his head, arms and legs, dodging all the knives. Sei, impossible how he did it nervously. Izuku's mind, this is strange. Since this morning I feel different looking at his hand, fear and sadness. And just now I reacted by instinct as if I had always done it. It surely has to do with that dream. I will investigate it later. Now I must end this. Clenching my fist to look ahead. Rinho, damn, attacking Izuku. Izuku prepared for Rinho's attack. Although Rinho's quirk gave him incredible strength, it took away a lot of speed. Izuku took advantage of this disadvantage to dodge his blows. Rinho, run as fast as you want. One hit will be enough to kill you. Several of the punches Rinho threw hit the ground, causing it to raise dust, making it difficult to see. Since Rinho couldn't see anything, he decided to stop his punches. Rinho, where is he? Looking for him with his eyes. Izuku, You're right, your blows are lethal when you jump at Rinho's neck, but they're useless if they don't hit the target. Rinho, seeing that Izuku climbed onto his neck, tried to get him down, but the moment he tried, Izuku set fire to his hands, fire that spread through Rinho's head. It wasn't long before Rinho fell to the ground with his entire skull exposed. Izuku just got off Rinho's lifeless body to get a better look, not expecting someone to catch him from behind. Phobo, wretch, I'll kill you the same way. Angry, he set fire to his entire body to burn him alive. To the surprise of those present, the little boy did not scream in pain as expected, but seemed unfazed. Izuku, you call this heat? Taking Phobo by the shoulders, this is heat, making a pillar of fire appear. Although Phobo had a fire quirk, and had resistance to this element, the heat he felt was not normal. For the first time since he obtained his quirk, Phobo was burning, and this caused him a lot of pain. Phobo, I was screaming in pain. After a few seconds the screams stopped, and with it the pillar of fire stopped, leaving a small child intact next to a charred corpse. Robert, who is this scared child? Ted, don't worry, my quirk is earth and his is fire. I can finish him off by calming down what was left of the group. Say, finish off the nervous Ted. Robert, we have a nervous to go. Ted, to protect himself from the fire, began to cover his body with hardened earth that covered him like armor. Ted, let's see if you're a match for this, preparing to attack. Izuku, tired of the spectacle, threw a fireball at Ted's chest. The supposed fireproof armor was easily pierced along with Ted's chest, which only fell to the ground lifeless. Robert, we see ONESHOT that BINDLD. That was the last thing he said before running away. Say, I'll wait. Me running behind. Dabi, as always a coward, appearing behind Izuku. Izuku, where were you looking at it? Dabi, I was standing there admiring the spectacle, smiling. Izuku, it doesn't matter, you'll let them escape by looking at those who are running. Dabi, I don't feel like running, and besides, they're already quite far away, he says unimportantly. Izuku, let me try something by looking at his hand. Dabi, what do you want to do looking at him in a strange position? Izuku, without answering, stretched his hand forward, and as if it were lightning, a chain manifested, chasing the two thugs who escaped, crossing everything in front of them, trees, stones, only stopping when it pierced its targets. Robert, what are you coughing blood? Say, I don't want to die coughing blood. Dabi, wow, you're full of surprises looking at the chain, but it seems like you have a hard time watching Izuku. Dabi could see that Izuku was having difficulty holding the chain. Dabi, your skills are incredible, but you still have the body of a year-old analyzing the situation. Izuku, stop talking and help me by trying hard. Dabi took the chain with both hands and also started pulling. Dabi, hey, what do you think of this trying hard? Izuku, what are you asking? Dabi, this, come here, he shouted and then pulled harder. When he pulled the chain, it loosened and began to return with the tip covered in blood, stopping at Izuku's hand and then disappearing. Dabi, I can see that you are quite the killer. Touching his shoulder, we take Izuku's hand. Izuku, hey, where are you dragging me? Dabi, these idiots had their base in the middle of the forest, so they wouldn't be discovered, and thanks to you that base will have a new excited owner. After a while of running through the forest, the two children came across a wooden cabin. Izuku, I guess it's better than the previous one. Looking at the cabin. Dabi, come on, let's see inside. When the little ones entered the cabin, they noticed that it didn't have much special about it. A kitchen, a bathroom, and a few rooms, but everything was in better condition than the previous building. Dabi, but what do we have here? Entering the kitchen, come on, Izuku, I have something to show you. Izuku, who was looking at the rooms, heads to the kitchen where Dabi was waiting for him. Izuku, what did you find when you entered the kitchen? Dabi, the loot of those idiots, showing a big bag. Inside the bag you could see large amounts of money along with some wallets and valuable accessories. Everything seemed to be stolen. Izuku, well, this makes me feel better, taking a picture of a family after killing them and getting a little angry. Dabi, you're quite unstable. I'm sure we're on the same side. Asking seriously. Izuku, don't worry, I owe you one for saving me. I don't plan on hurting you. He smiles slightly, but it's true that I'm unstable, both in mind and body, remembering their fight. Dabi, seeing Izuku's worried face, made him remember 3 little children he hadn't seen in a long time, which made him act. Dabi, don't worry, partner. Putting his arm around his neck, we already have the shelter and the money. showing it now. We just need to train ourselves, and with that you will control your skills, giving him encouragement. Izuku managed to calm down a little after Dabi's words. Izuku, you're right, and I think I have an idea of how to make him excited. Dabi, okay, while you do whatever you have in mind, I'll go buy dinner and take some money. You wait here, I won't be long. Izuku, whatever you say, laughing a little as he watched him walk out the door. With this new beginning for Izuku and his new ally, a new chapter in his life began. Days later, we can see Izuku being surrounded by a blaze of fire provided by Dabi himself. Dabi, okay, minutes holding your fire. Dabi, how do you feel looking at Izuku? Izuku was shirtless, checking his body. Izuku, nothing out of the ordinary, no stains, pain, or burns, explaining his condition. Dabi, then we can say with certainty that you are totally immune to fire counting. Izuku, well, it seems like he's getting dressed again. Dabi, I sigh deeply, I envy you. Even though we both have a fire quirk, I still get burns seeing his hands, asking for some advice. Izuku, control the fire, don't let it control you, he says, sitting on the ground. Dabi, what does that mean? Confused. Izuku, fire is an element that consumes everything, including its bearer, which is why it is so powerful, which means that if you want to control it, the bearer must be stronger than the bearer himself, explaining. Dabi, where do you get all those theories sitting next to him? Izuku, I don't know, it's like I have it embedded in my memory. The only thing I know is that it works by counting. Dabi, sometimes you seem like a teacher with all your riddles and mocking words. Izuku, oh, that's a good one. During training, you have to call me Grandmaster, following the joke. Dabi, yes, great master. Izuku laughing. Dabi, you know, changing face when I went to the city this morning, they were reporting your death on the news telling. Izuku, and what did he say? Dabi, local family is killed by robbers, and also said that family friends would hold a funeral this Friday to say goodbye to the family counting. Izuku, it must be Aunt Mitsuki, she was always close to us, remembering the whole family. Hey, I would spend more time asking you to have more allies. Dabi, what do you mean, form a gang or a mafia? Izuku, I was thinking more like a clan, but yes, answering. Dabi, well, having more people would be helpful, but I doubt anyone would help two laughing stray kids. Izuku, you're right, first we have to be stronger for that. Getting up for your fortune, I know two people who can help us in the future by reaching out to Dabi. Dabi, and who are holding his hand? Izuku, some friends thinking about a little screamer and black-haired boy. Friday, Midoriya family funeral. We can see several people with their heads bowed with the coffins of the Midoriya family in front of them. Father/priest, we are gathered here to say goodbye to our family, who was unjustly taken from us. If anyone here wants to come forward and say goodbye, this is the time to do so, he says, then steps aside. Many of those present stood up and approached the coffins, one of them some children who approached the smallest coffin. Katsuki, damn, you said we would be heroes together, liar holding back tears. Aki, I didn't know you for long, but I consider you a great friend, crying slightly. Aki, goodbye, Izuku, and thank you for everything you did for me. Saying goodbye. Katsuki, I'll show you what a great hero I'll be, so look at him very carefully as he begins to cry. Mitsuki, come on guys, it's time for the burial, he says with red eyes. The two stepped back a little and were able to watch as their friend was buried, all accompanied by tears from those present. A while later, the funeral was over and those present were returning to their homes. Mitsuki, I still can't believe they're not entering your house anymore. Masaru, Katsuki, how are you looking at your son? Note, I think that was the name of Katsuki's father. Katsuki, yes, I'll just go to my room feeling depressed. Katsuki's parents didn't stop him because they knew how he felt. Katsuki, entering his room while what is that looking over his bed? Katsuki, I don't remember leaving this here, taking a card with the letter I. Katsuki, maybe it's a joke and bad taste when opening the letter. Letter, I hope you cried at my funeral. I would feel really bad if you didn't, sad face. With just that phrase, Katsuki's forehead veins stood out in anger. Katsuki, damn angry, kept reading. Letter, I would love to see your angry face right now, but unfortunately it will have to wait. Remember our promise that we would be heroes together? It seems like it won't be possible, but I hope that when we see each other again you will already be a true hero. When that moment comes, I will need your help. Until then, do your best and don't leave him alone. Now he only has you. PSS, don't trust anyone, not even the heroes. Katsuki left the letter on his bed after reading it. Katsuki, I was thinking of doing it even without you telling me. Get ready, Izuku, the next time we see each other I will be a true determined hero. But that phrase. Don't trust anyone, not even the heroes. Remembering the phrase, what was it that you had to go through to say that? Monday morning, Katsuki was on his usual trip to school until he saw a rather unusual scene. Aki, leave him alone, he says to an abuser who was hitting a child. Abuser? Wow, it seems we have a hero hitting him to make him fall. You know, before I didn't dare to hit you because Midoriya always protected you. But now that he's not there, kicking him in the stomach. Aki, standing up for that very reason. Now that he is gone, I will take his place and protect the weakest. Abuser, really? And who will protect you by throwing a right punch? Katsuki, grabbing the fist, I guess that'll be me. Abuser, Bakugo, don't get involved in this, pushing his fist away. Katsuki, what's up? You mess with weaker people, but you're afraid of facing someone stronger and approaching the abuser. The abuser, seeing Katsuki approaching, had no choice but to run away. Abuser, this will not stay like this, he shouted as he ran. Katsuki, what a coward, watching him run and you turning around where Aki is. Katsuki, it wasn't enough to have to get Izuku out of his problems, now I also have to get you out of them by scolding him. Aki, I couldn't just stand by and do nothing. Izuku would have helped by making excuses. Katsuki, yes, but Izuku was an idiot. Did his stupidity rub off on you when he was angry? While these two friends continued arguing, the boy they saved approached them. Boy, excuse me for calling your attention. Aki/Katsuki. What are you answering? Boy, thanks for saving me by bowing. Katsuki. Tisk anyway, scratching his head. Aki, you're welcome, we'll always be there to help, smiling. After thanking them, the boy returned to his original path, being observed by the two friends without saying anything until. Katsuki, I got a letter, I asked without looking. Aki, if it hadn't come to me, do you think I'd be smiling and pointing? Katsuki, I assumed so. What did yours say when you asked? Aki, first he made fun of me for crying at his funeral by telling. Katsuki, that bastard can't take anything seriously, remembering that he did the same thing to him. Aki, then he encouraged me to never give up and that my current condition was not an impediment to becoming a hero. Katsuki, I guess we're the same, changing our faces. And about the last thing. Aki, seriously, don't trust anyone, not even heroes. Repeating the phrase, you won't believe that, interrupted. Katsuki, no matter what I believe, what I do know is what we have to do. Let's go here and show that idiot the heroes we can be by starting to walk. Aki, of course, following him. Cabin in the woods. Dabi, are you sure about this, sitting on the floor? Izuku, of course, if you concentrate you can control your fire to make it more powerful without it burning you. Explaining. Dabi, we have nothing to lose by trying, resigned. Izuku, well now close your eyes, and so that all your energy flows through your body, let your energy envelop you, but not so much as to consume you. When you have achieved this, manifest that energy in your hands. Explaining. Dabi followed Izuku's instructions to the letter, and as if it were magic, everything Izuku said was coming true. He felt warmth throughout his body, so following the instructions he manifested the energy he felt in his hands. Izuku, okay, now open your eyes, ordering. Dabi did, and what he observed left him speechless. In his hands was a sphere of fire, but this one was different. Unlike the others he had made, this one did not burn him. In fact, it seemed like he was not even touching it. Shortly after noticing it, the sphere vanished. Dabi, that was amazing. Who taught you that? By looking at Izuku. Izuku, I already told you. It's like all this information was recorded in my house. It's hard to explain, but there it is, trying to tell. Dabi, well, that information helped me solve a problem that tormented me for years. What other type of information do you have when asking? Izuku, do you find a martial art style for close combat interesting? Dabi, you mean fist fights, with swords and stuff, like we were excited ninjas. Izuku, yes, confirming that. Dabi took a step back and bowed. Dabi, teach me, Grandmaster. Asking. Izuku, it will be a pleasure to respond to the bow. Ready, new chapter. I'm sorry if it's boring. Personally, I'll admit that it's a little boring, but oh well, it's necessary for the plot. News. I bought a new PC, and writing on the PC is times more comfortable than writing on the phone. But I have a problem since it's the first time I've written on a PC. I don't know how to insert images. I would appreciate it if you could tell me how, with a comment. That would be all. We'll see each other soon in another chapter. Bye, clan. Years later, we can see two people hidden in the darkness on top of a building watching a warehouse near a port, analyzing the situation that was happening inside. Izuku. I'm sure he's there looking at his partner. Dabi. Of course, if my contact didn't lie to me, he knows what's best for him by smiling. Izuku. Good, because I have unfinished business with him looking at the warehouse. Dabi. How do you want to do it? We go in front and destroy everything, or slowly but surely take out a knife? Izuku. You know the answer. Putting on a scarf that covered half of his face, we jump off the building. Dabi. Of course, putting on a scarf and followed him. With improved agility and speed, the teammates managed to infiltrate the warehouse without making any noise. Izuku. Two guards patrolling whispering. What are you saying? Should we ignore them or should we finish them off whispering? Dabi. Let's take the weight off our shoulders, I answered, the one on the left whispering. Izuku nodded his head at the answer, and they approached the guards to ambush them. Both covered the guards' mouths so they wouldn't scream and stabbed them in the neck, Dabi with a knife and Izuku with the tip of their chains. Izuku. Okay, let's hide the bodies and continue cleaning while whispering. Dabi nodded. After that, with precision and silence, they finished off one by one all the warehouse guards until only 3 people remained. Salazar. Well, this box is fine. Checking a box full of weapons. Salazar. Hey, how are the others? I ask your people. Smuggler 1. The shipment is complete, confirming. Smuggler 2. Now we just have to call the buyer and have him come pick it up, smiling. Smuggler 1. I'm sure you got paid in advance by looking at Salazar. Salazar. You know me, I have to see the money so I can do the work, smiling. Izuku. Seriously? And 4 years ago they paid you in advance by appearing next to the smuggler. Smuggler 1. Who? The smuggler could say no more when the fire engulfed him in flames and consumed him. Izuku. Or you had to wait for the final cast, he says, complimenting the above. Smuggler 2. Mizera trying to attack Izuku. Dabi. I wouldn't do that if it was you stabbing him in the neck. The stab was precise enough to cause instant death, but it was so forceful that the blade separated from the handle. Dabi. Ah, it broke seeing the handle in his hand. Izuku. That's what happens to you for bringing the kitchen knife, reminding him. Dabi. I had no choice, all the others were broken, not all of us have an infernal chain with a dagger included in our arm, pointing at it. Izuku. Spinning the chain with fire and leaving the dagger in his hand, envious and mocking. Dabi, seeing this gesture, got annoyed but didn't say anything, because he was a little envious. Salazar. Who are you who want to step back a little? Izuku. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting, but you really don't remember me, looking at Salazar seriously. Salazar. I should remember a murderous child like you, answering. Izuku. I feel somewhat offended that you don't remember me being one of those responsible for making me like this by taking off the handkerchief. How about now? When Salazar saw Izuku's face, he began to remember everything that happened that night. The robbery, the kidnapping, and the murder of that family. Salazar. No, 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 you're dead. Looking at Izuku in terror. Izuku, dead, smiling. When Izuku smiled, he used one of his newly discovered abilities, which was teleportation, appearing behind Salazar and hitting him with his fire-enveloped fist, causing Salazar to fall. Izuku. That felt like he was dead, mocking. Salazar. Please don't kill me, he begged on the ground. Izuku. Don't worry, I won't kill you yet. First, you'll tell me all the information you know about the others who were there that day, your partner, that boss, and especially about Almight. Salazar. I know nothing about them. Since that day I separated from them. I couldn't stand what they did. Izuku. What they did will not compare to what I will do to you if you don't tell me anything by threatening him. Salazar. I swear I know nothing. Desperate. Izuku, tired of not receiving information, wrapped his chains around her body and heated them to cause pain. Izuku, speak angrily. Salazar. I really don't know anything. Screaming in pain. Izuku got angrier and angrier with each passing second, which made the temperature rise more and more. He was about to explode. Dabi, calm down, friend, taking his shoulder. Izuku, feeling Dabi's hand, began to calm down and control his temperature. Izuku, sorry, I got carried away, breathing deeply. Dabi, I understand you. But look, pointing at Salazar, he's already dead. Izuku retracted his chains, letting Salazar's lifeless body fall. Izuku, let's get out of here and start walking to the exit, but first. Izuku turned around and began to burn the entire shipment of weapons that were stored. After a few minutes of intense fire, the entire shipment was turned to ashes with Izuku and Dabi far from there. Izuku, I'm sorry that the information you got was wasted. Apologizing to Dabi. Dabi, don't worry, friend, with everything you've taught me these 4 years, what I spent on the information is nothing. Also, showing a briefcase, it was true that they paid him in advance, smiling. Izuku, seeing how carefree Dabi was, made him feel a little better. Izuku, thank you. I think that without you I would have returned a long time ago, or I would have died thanking you. Dabi, the feeling is mutual, bro. What do you think about this? We take this money and go have a delicious dinner at Mrs. Bo's restaurant. Explaining. Izuku, this bad day could only be fixed by Mrs. Bo's. Katsudan, smiling. Let's go. Bo's restaurant. Izuku and Dabi calmly entered the restaurant and sat at an empty table, waiting to be served. Mr. Bo, oh, it's you approaching the table, says a small old woman who approached the table with a small notebook. Izuku, hello Mrs. Bo, greeting kindly. Mr. Bo, hello. Izuku, smiling. Hello, Dabi says with a tone of displeasure. Dabi, I'm glad to see you again too, Mrs. Bo, he says mockingly. Mr. Bo, what are you going to order? Oh, why do I ask? You always order the same thing and answer only yourself. Dabi, you know us too well, with a mocking smile. Mr. Bo, of course I know you, little thief, pointing a pencil at him. Dabi, it was a long time ago, besides I already paid you back, remembering. Mr. Bo, but you wouldn't have done it if Izuku hadn't told you. Dabi, that I can't deny it by looking away. Mr. Bo, sighing however, I will bring you your order, moving away from the table. Izuku, it seems like he still hasn't forgiven you, looking at him. Dabi, at that time I had no money for anything, it was either steal or starve, and this place is weird. Looking at the surroundings. Izuku, you also noticed that looking at the customers present, the atmosphere is tense. While the two looked around to find the situation they were in, Mrs. Bo returned with her orders. Mr. Bo, here are your orders, katsudon for Izuku and ramen for Dabi, leaving the plates in front of them. Izuku, Mrs. Bo, what's seriously going on? Mr. Bo, I don't know what you're talking about, looking away. Dabi, of course, nothing happens here without you knowing it seriously. Mr. Bo, sighing, of course, no one survives in the underworld without having certain skills. Looking at them, I will just tell them that when they finish they should leave immediately, they do not have to pay by leaving. Dabi, what are we doing? Looking at Izuku. Izuku, I thought you made the decisions by eating a little. Dabi, that's what I thought at first, but at some point, you became better than me in that regard, remembering the years you've been together. Izuku, that being the case, let's do what Mrs. Bo said and eat quietly. Although that wasn't the answer he was expecting, Dabi thought he knew him well enough to know that the green-haired man wouldn't just leave without doing anything. By his nature, he wouldn't. Dabi, as ordered, starting to eat. After a few minutes, the two had finished their plate. Just as Mrs. Bo had said, they left as soon as they finished. Along with them, more customers left, leaving the place completely empty. As the place was empty, there was only silence, a silence that was interrupted by an incoming voice. Blaze, oh, it seems you prepared for our arrival. Seeing the empty place. Mr. Bo, I prefer to solve my problems alone, not like you guys. Seeing that Blaze wasn't alone. Blaze, they're just my escorts. But they can get a little violent, but there won't be any need for that, right? Looking at her arrogantly, Blaze approached Mrs. Bo along with his entourage of 5 thugs. Blaze, and well, what is your response when questioning her? Mr. Bo, I said it once and I'll say it again. I don't need your protection, and that's why I'm not going to pay you. Blaze, it's a shame. Turning around, finish her off quietly. Bully, sorry old lady, nothing personal, cracking his knuckles. Ms. Bo got into a fighting stance, but her nervousness was evident. She knew she couldn't win alone. Izuku, so that's what it was about, appearing next to Mrs. Bo. Dabi, who would have thought that the proud Mrs. Bo would be extorted by mocking her? Mr. Bo, what are you two doing here? I'm surprised to see you. I told you to go out and scold you. Izuku, and we did. We waited outside laughing. Blaze, how funny, Mrs. Bo. You have 2 little brats as bodyguards mocking you. Finish them off. The thugs prepared to attack all 3 people equally. Izuku, do you mind if I take care of this? I must release some heat, with a smile that hid the anger. Dabi, all your friends giving him the move. Mr. Bo, what are you saying? I can't allow some children to fight over me. I interrupted by an arm that crossed her. Hey, Dobby, what does this mean? Seeing which arm was Dobby's, Dobby, I'll give you some advice, Mr. Bo. When Izuku gets like this, it's best to step back and watch. Izuku, very well. Who will be the first to look at the bullies? Maiden 1, you're brave, kid, so I'll give you a quick death by turning your hands into hammers. Izuku, when will they learn that strength is useless? Piercing the bully's chest with their hand wrapped in fire without speed. The bully could see how a small child ran through him, and then fell dead. Izuku, sorry guys, waving his hand to wipe the blood, but I'm not in the mood to play today. The other members of the band were stunned by what they saw. In a second the strongest of them was dead. If that happened to him, what will happen to me? Was the only thought that went through their minds. Izuku, then they will attack, or will I have to do it with a serious tone? That statement was enough for the thugs to run away terrified from the premises. All this under the watchful eyes of Blaze and Ms. Bo. Dobby, I congratulate you for having lasted so long. Turning his gaze to Izuku, what kind of person are you, with a nervous smile? Blaze, tell me, where do you think he's going? Screaming in pain. Izuku, where do you think you're going? By piercing his leg with his chain. Blaze, Whitey, please let me live, begging for his life. Izuku, and why should I do that? By flushing the toilet. With the pull on the chain he caused Blaze great pain. Blaze, PPPRA, begging for it to stop. Izuku, give me a reason. By pulling harder. Blaze, screaming in pain. Dobby, leave it alone, touching his shoulder. He's more useful alive. He can give us information by looking at Blaze, right? Blaze, if I'll tell you what you want by answering. Izuku, at Dobby's words, released his grip and removed his chains, causing Blaze pain. Izuku, I sigh to calm down. You can question him. I have to calm down by looking at Dobby. Dobby, sure boss, I'll make sure to get all the information out of you. Izuku smiled slightly at his friend's joke, then headed to Mrs. Bo. Izuku, I'm sorry for the mess, Mr. Bo. I'll help you clean it up. Incredulous at what I saw. Mr. Bo, no need for a teacher. Something like this is easy to do while kneeling with your head down. Izuku, Mr. Bo, why are you kneeling with a drop of sweat? Mr. Bo, it is a sign of respect. Kneel before the great master of the Shirai Ryu. When Izuku heard that name, he was reminded of his father telling them stories of a powerful clan of ninjas who were the first to have an affinity with fire, but who were eliminated by their rival clan. Izuku, Mr. Bo, that clan became extinct hundreds of years ago, as you may know. Confused. Mr. Bo, let me tell you, raising my head a little, I am a descendant of one of the great masters of that time, Master Borai.cho. This master was in charge of training 2 Shaolin warriors who were sent to fight for the land. It was the interrupted one. Izuku, Mortal Kombat, finishing the sentence. Mr. Bo, if you know the name, you should know how I ended up. Looking at Izuku. Izuku, after many battles, he wins the kingdom of Earth, along with the rise of a human to a god, remembering the stories. Mr. Bo, that's right, as he had won the kingdom of the Earth, the teachings of my ancestors were no longer required by the Shaolin, so he went to the renewed Shirai Ryu clan where he offered loyalty to the warrior who impressed him in Mortal Kombat. The leader Hanzo Hasashi accepted him, and since then my entire family has served the Shirai Ryu clan. Well, that was the story my grandmother told me. Remembering the past, my grandmother always said that one day the great master would return, and when it happened we should be prepared, and that day finally came. Looking at Izuku. Izuku, that explains how you know them, but not why you say I'm the new leader they've been waiting for. Mr. Bo, his chains were the only proof he needed, remembering the fight. Izuku, the chain, revealing the chain. Mr. Bo, you acquired them after being stabbed by one of them, right? Izuku, yes, when I was 4 years old I was stabbed by one of the daggers. I thought I was going to die, but instead my reflexes, power and strength all increased, and I also obtained these chains that I can manipulate at will, making them disappear. Mr. Bo, both your fire and the chains you now possess are not normal, they are derived from the same hell counting. With the new information that Izuku had, he just kept thinking about everything he had experienced, thoughts that were driven by a familiar voice. Dobby, that explains a lot. Appearing behind Izuku. Izuku, you believe all this by asking. Dobby, since I've been with Taigo I've seen things that have no logical explanation. I'd be crazy if I didn't believe it. Besides putting his arm around his neck, your dream of forming a clan came true, he says mockingly, but I'll be second in command. Izuku, smiling clearly, friend, thanks, whispering the last thing. Dabi, don't thank me, it's the least I can do, but I have a question, how do we get new members for this by asking? Izuku, true, I don't think people want to be ordered around by a 10-year-old. Mr. Bo, you could be right, but people are based on merit and power. If you get those two, people will follow you, and a quick way to get that is by dominating the underworld, eliminating the old leaders, explaining. Dabi, with that said, I think I have the perfect target, courtesy of our good friend aiming for a fainting blaze. In 3 days a large shipment of drugs and weapons will arrive to his boss. The bad thing is that there are caliber villains along with some double-faced heroes. It will be a great party counting. Izuku, well, if we want to do this, it's better to do it big. Let's leave the name of the excited Shirai Ryu etched in everyone's memory. Mr. Bo, now that we have a plan, it's time to get equipped, or do you think you'll be wearing those outfits seeing them? Izuku, what's on his mind while looking at Mrs. Bo? Mr. Bo, Master, I am not the only one who is devoted to the clan. Let's meet tomorrow at this address and pass him a piece of paper. Izuku, taking the paper, there we will be. Mr. Bo, with that said, I think it's time for you to go. I must clean up this mess, he says with a grandmotherly smile. Izuku, let us help you. Interrupted. Mr. Bo, of course not. I can't let the master do something like this. Besides, it's not the first time I clean a corpse. It will be easy moving towards the body. Dabi, I think it would be better not to ask, he says, then leaves the place. Izuku, okay, then I'll see you tomorrow, saying goodbye. Mrs. Bo waited a bit until she was sure the duo had left. Mr. Bo, he has too much power to remain a child. If he continues to adapt to power, looking at his trembling hand, he will be a complete monster. Mrs. Bo stood for a while thinking about everything that had happened a moment ago, and came to the conclusion that, Mr. Bo, it's good to be on the winning side, smiling. The next day, following Senior Bo Izuku and Dabi's directions, they found themselves in the middle of the city in front of a large building. Dabi, I'm sure this is the place. Looking at the building. Izuku, it's the address he gave us while looking at the paper. Dabi, he must have been mistaken. This is interrupted. Mr. Bo, it seems they arrived early. They had to wait a long time, smiling. Dabi, don't act like this is a date, and tell me why you brought us to a hero agency. A little upset. Izuku, you're right, we've done so many things that we're considered villains. Whispering this last thing is like walking into the lion's den. Mr. Bo, is the ninja duo afraid of a mocking building? Dabi/Izuku, ninja duos say confused. Mr. Bo, there are rumors of 2 people who are dedicated to robbing and killing groups of villains. Nobody knows who they are or what quirk they have, only that they attack at night with precision and speed. According to testimonies from the lucky victims, they say that these people always have their faces covered and that one of them manipulates an infernal hook that always catches his victim, pointing at Izuku's arm. Does it sound similar to you? Smiling, Izuku and Dabi remained silent with a pale face upon hearing the rumor of themselves. Mr. Bo, after what happened last night, it was easy to connect the dots. Dabi, deep sigh, well, you win, but that doesn't explain why you brought us here, scratching his head. Mr. Bo, if I discover them, there will be more who will do it. That's why we are here walking to the building. The best quality of a ninja is to disappear in plain sight. Izuku, I didn't think there were rumors about us. I have to admit it's exciting and cheerful. Dabi, the only bad thing is the name. What idiot comes up with the idea of calling us the indignant ninja duo? Inside the building. Izuku, wow, this place is exciting. Looking around, it exudes elegance. I feel like we're out of place. Izuku and Dabi were wearing casual clothes compared to the others who were in business suits. Mr. Bo, don't worry about where we're going. You don't need to look good explaining. After walking for a while, they arrived in front of the receptionist. Receptionist, good morning, how can I help you? Smiling. Mr. Bo, hello, we would like to visit Master Kazuki Counting. Receptionist, is that your family asking? Mr. Bo, that's right, I'm his wife and they are my children. We wanted to surprise him for his birthday by explaining. Receptionist, it's his birthday. Surprised, even though he's been working here for a long time, he never says anything about him, talking to himself. Can you come in? It's in that hallway, the door at the end. He's showing her the direction. Mr. Bo, Thank you very much, leaving. Receptionist, oh, and congratulate him from me. Mr. Bo, sure, I'll tell him, moving away from the duo. Dobby, I see you're an expert at this deception, Mom says sarcastically. Mr. Bo, it's the most peaceful way to enter, and it will be worth it to open the indicated door. Inside the room there were many support tools along with several hero suits with various work tables, and in the middle of everything a person who was welding metals. Kazuki, I told you to call me if you wanted, he says without stopping working. Mr. Bo, this is not a simple visit from a friend. I came because the master of the Shirai Ryu has been seriously reborn. Kazuki, that old story, my father told it to me when I was a child, so much so that I really thought it was real. But then I discovered that it was just a story without believing anything. Mr. Bo, I assumed you wouldn't believe me without proof, calling Izuku. Look, you'll do this by telling Izuku the plan in his ear. Izuku, are you sure? It won't be a bad idea. Doubtful. Mr. Bo, you trust turning your gaze to the old man who continued working. You remember the story of a metal so hard that not even the strongest flame could melt it, so they considered it a junk mineral. Kazuki, of course it was my favorite story. Only the clan leader with his hellfire power was able to mold that metal, and with it he armed his entire clan, making fun of the story. I've lived years and I've never seen him silenced by a chain that passed next to his face and stuck in the wall. Kazuki, this is looking at the chain. Izuku, I told him it was a bad idea with my arm extended. Mr. Bo, you wait. Looking at Kazuki. Kazuki, it is beautiful. Taking the dagger out of the wall has the perfect design to be aerodynamic and cause fatal damage, although it is all metal is quite light, which allows close combat at high speed and hardness, hitting it with a hammer not even a notch. This is the kind of weapon I want to create. Who was turning his head to see where the chain came from. Kazuki, so it's you? Approaching Izuku quickly. You say euphorically, you are my new teacher, stopping in front of Izuku and then kneeling down. As Kazuki always had his back turned until this moment, it was the first time Izuku and Dabi saw the old man's face, and they were surprised by what they saw. Dabi/Izuku's mind, weak old man, were amazed. Mr. Bo, Kazuki, calm down, you're too excited to calm him down. Kazuki, yes, sorry, realizing that I can't believe the stories we were told as children were real. Mr. Bo, I know, let me introduce them to you. They are Dabi and Izuku. Currently we are the only members. We are planning an attack that will serve as a debut for the clan, but as you can see we need the right team. Explaining. Kazuki, don't say more, I understand. Leave it to me. I'll create the best weapons and suits that these hands have ever created with fire in their eyes. Izuku, wow, that's intense, laughing nervously.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.